Guys, I'd been waiting to do this podcast episode for Jaden. It must be like 2 weeks now, and you kept saying no. You kept saying no, but now I'm psyched to do it. There's some great news about AIbox.ai. And what I love about this is Jaden's company, and it allows you to use all these different LLMs. It has incredible pricing, all that kind of stuff. But it has this new feature out and build workflows, just really cool stuff that I do all the time, which is like comparing different models, et cetera. But the new feature Jaden has been talking about for a while, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about it for two reasons. First of all, I genuinely think that this is in everybody's interest to check out. Jaden has Jaden did this giant round of funding from the audience because that's how popular this thing was. But the other thing is, this is how we want to think about AI. This is AI applied, and this is actually how you start thinking about your workflows. The biggest problem that I see when I'm like working with organizations is people can't figure out like what to do. They're like, well, what should I do? What should I use it for? How should I use it? And I think Jaden has come up with a really cool way of solving that through AIbox.ai. And that's through this new marketplace feature, which I've been messing around with. And it just feels so intuitive that I asked, I sort of said, Jaden, like, let's just talk about this. So, because I want to hear a few things from Jaden. First of all, what is it like to sort of like build a software in AI? What is it like to try to find the problems and identify the problems in a world where some people are using it and some people aren't? And third, what is this marketplace like doing? Like, where does he see sort of like the greatest uses? Is it in home use? Is it in workplace use, et cetera? Jaden, let's just start there.
Okay.
Can you talk to us a little bit? Give everybody who maybe sort of new listeners a little bit about like, what is AIbox.ai? How'd you come up with it? And then how did we get to this feature?
Yeah, so this is something that I have been working on for almost 3 years now. So it's interesting because I feel like we've come so far. I've been doing software development for almost 10 years now. I'm not a coder in any way, but just starting software companies and partnering with great developers to build things. And so when ChatGPT first launched, like literally that week, my now CTO on AIbox and I were like talking about all of the incredible things you could do. And we're like, really, like there's so many different things you can do, but I just want like a place to go look at all of the different like categories. So whatever my department is, if I'm in marketing or HR, and I just want to see like all of the top workflows that people have built with them. So this is like way before N8N was very popular. It was kind of just this thing we wanted to build. Anyways, so it's been a long journey of, ideas and pivots, and we raised money for it. And finally, this is like the final piece of it, which is like the marketplace. You've heard announcements about other like elements of it. So the other things that we had built, which kind of led up to this, the first one was we have a playground. So you can basically talk to 40 different AI models. There's a bunch of image models, a bunch of text to speech models, like 11 labs. And you could chat with them all. So one feature we just added to the builder is file uploads, which is awesome. So I upload this picture, it gives me this. Anyways, so this is kind of like the first product we did. And the idea here was like, if you're going to build like a workflow and link together like, 10 different AI models to get something done for you, you can test all the AI models and see which one is best here in the playground, or here in the playground. Then we have a builder that we created. And the builder is, we've added some new functionality here. We have a vibe builder. So essentially you can put in a prompt of a tool that you want to create. So here I'm saying like create a tool that will write a script for a podcast based on a title it's given. Then it generates a podcast description, also shows the podcast title. It generates an image, so a podcast image as well. And then it also is using 11 labs to create an audio file for the episode. So you basically just explain a type of tool you want, right? Like, I make a lot of podcasts, then this is something that might help me with, my workflow. You explain it, and the vibe builder will go and create it. Now, it's going to take a couple minutes. So while it's linking together all of the different models and building this out, I'll show you what happens once you create these tools. So once you create a tool that's useful for this, it's phenomenal. You can just use it yourself. But we've just launched what is now the marketplace. So it's like as an app store for all of these tools and all these workflows that people have created. So you can go on here. There's a bunch of different categories on the marketplace. So if you want to look at like marketing tools, for example, you go over to the marketing category and see like product manage, image generator, all these different things that people have built inside of the marketing category. And if you go and build things in the builder, you can publish them here as well, so other people can use them. In the future, what it's going to do is when people use your tool, you'll get a percentage royalty off of it. So it's actually a way for people to make money. We haven't set that up right now. That was also an initial promise, I think, with OpenAI's GPT store. They still haven't done that. So when they first launched, we're like, oh, shoot, these things take a lot longer when you're indie developing them. So we're like, oh, shoot, they beat us sort of to that, except we use every AI model in the world, and they only have the OpenAI models. but we're still probably going to beat them to letting people monetize. So on the
Yeah.
on the App Store, like if you go look, I actually recently created this one. It's like a modern logo generator. So if you like it, you could go see examples of the types of outputs it can generate. Then you can click run, so you can actually use this. So if you were going to describe a tool, I could say like a podcast platform, SaaS, something like that, and
Hmm.
run, and it will actually go and generate this for me. So, it's gone and generated kind of this logo thing, and you can make all sorts of different like styles of logo. If you're like, oh, this isn't my style, there's other logo generators in different styles and topics. And basically, what you don't have to do is figure out the perfect prompt. If you like what a logo looks like or what something looks like, you don't have to go and figure out the prompt and how to chain together all the AI models. You could just run it here, and it's based off of tokens, so it's super cheap. You get a ton of these outputs, and it works really, really well. So I'll show you also back over to the builder. So the Vibe builder just finished up, and it's super cool. So it's built these like 3 different nodes. You can look
Here,
at
let
the
me let
first.
me let me describe what I'm seeing on the screen here because it's super
Yeah.
cool. Like if you know how like they have like a whiteboard function on something. So Jaden just put in that prompt. It looks like a ChatGPT interface. It's like, hey, build me, a podcast script or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is it creates a workflow. So a lot of you have probably not seen this if you haven't done things in like Make or things like that. But the idea here is it's like kind of like a whiteboard and like a box on like the left hand side of the screen, and then like sort of like a swoopy line like connecting you to like up here nodes, meaning like sort of like where they connect, like up to this box up here, and then one to over this box over here. So it's essentially creating a flow. And what I love about this is that Jaden, it's kind of like getting into like how we actually work. Like this is what a workflow would look. Forget AI for a second. This is what a
Mhm.
workflow would look like. But now you have this thing helping you along with this workflow. So don't think about like, well, how do I use AI? Think, what am I trying to get done? And then this helps you sort of like guide through it as if you had like a mentor next to you.
Yep, 100%. So you can build these workflows. This one in particular, it's this like podcast thing I created. The thing that I love about it though is that if you're using the Vibe Builder, you don't even have to come up with the prompt. You just explain the tool you want, and it's like write a podcast, script that's this length, that's like this tone, and you can like adjust what tone or length it is. It has like variables, so you can like tell it how long you want it to be, or whenever someone generates a new one, they can change the length to be longer or shorter. It's like, use a natural spoken dialogue ready to be read out loud. So it comes up with everything you need for it. You can then run it in here and kind of like test it out. Because sometimes I'll like, even after it generates a prompt, I'm like, okay, like let's adjust it. Let's, add this kind of concept or, whatever to it. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and create that whole tool, and then you publish it and put it on the marketplace for other people to use or for you to go and use on a repeated basis. So yeah, that is the marketplace in a nutshell. I'm super stoked about it. This is something we've been building for a long time. So if you have any AI workflows that you use commonly, or you have a ton of different subscriptions to different AI platforms, check it out. Let me know what you think. If you're using it and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had this feature, or I wish it could do that, like let us know. We are actively adding features every single day. I'm in the process of redesigning this the entire platform basically. So it's always a ton of fun, and I'm blown away by the amount of people that are using it. I guess last
Yeah,
call
it's
out,
amazing.
I was just looking through our user base today because I was redesigning some pages, and was blown away by just the amount of companies that are using it. We have people from Deloitte, Accenture, Google,
Yeah,
university of
yeah.
10 or 20 different universities, Yamaha,
Yeah.
Toyota, like all sorts of people are finding a ton of use in this. So I would love for you to try it out and let me know what you think.
Yeah, the thing I like about it, Jane, this is what I want to ask you too, is that the thing I love about it is first of all the accessibility, but as you've heard me talk about AIbox.ai in the past, the thing that I love about it the most is it does what I do every day, which is I'm comparing Claude to Gemini to ChatGPT, et cetera. And this has all the models in there. So that was like my favorite baseline feature of this. But what the marketplace is to me as sort of a user is it's a place where like I just have my workflows and I just create it, and it's super easy to create, but I don't have to sort of like learn how to vibe code. I don't have to sort of like figure out like Claude code. I don't have to figure all that stuff out. This is just super intuitive, and it's laid out in such a way that I can see it, and it maps along to the processes that I do at work. That's the most important thing. Again, I talk to companies about this all the time. I'm like, forget AI. Talk about how you work. Tell me about like what you do, like what drives value. And the thing about AI Box at AI, Jaden, that we've talked about for, I mean, since you've been doing this, right, is like, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong or steer me in a different direction here. But what you're always talking about is like hyper practicality. It's not about like the cutting edge tech, although this is cutting edge tech by definition because you're using it, but it's really about like what are people just going to feel super comfortable about just like opening, clicking, and it's as if like you have, you can have all these systems in work, but ultimately you still have like your post-it notes. Do you mean like what
Mhm.
is this
Yep.
thing where it's just like the comfort thing where I'm like, this is how I'm going to do this. So when you see this, what do people tend to love about it? But also, because I'm not trying to hype you or anything like that, but it's more like, are people using this in their, kind of like just for their personal work? Are they trying to integrate it into their, like their other work systems? Like, how do you see people using this?
I think the way that inevitably this platform gets used a lot is people come in for the playground. So it's like, you have 20, you have 5 different subscriptions to Claude and OpenAI and 11 Labs and everything else, and they all have different costs. So I think a lot of people just come because it's like, well, it's $19 and I get access to like everything,
Right.
so might as well just save money. And then I think inevitably what happens is they'll have some tasks that they do a lot in the playground, like just things they do over and over again, and they just will naturally go over to the builder and create a little automation, a little tool where they're like, look, I always ask, ChatGPT to like do this type of research, and then I ask Claude to, or Perplexity to go research the top news things. Then I go ask Claude to like help me rewrite it for this like
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yep.
sequence that I do. So just link those together and have them both automatically do it. I go click a button and it will automatically every day give me what I need. I think that's what happens a lot. So now the marketplace is an exciting part because now you can, if you've built something really useful for yourself, you can now share it with people, and in the future you'll get paid for that. So that's kind of our vision, is to like let you monetize your expertise with AI in a way that you can't before. So that's our goal, and yeah, really excited with the progress,
Well,
and
well,
obviously,
that's the other
obviously
thing
excited
that
to share.
no, but that's the other fun thing to me about it, which is that like, and you see this all over, X, and you see it all over sort of everywhere else, mostly on X. But people are like, hey, I vibe coded this thing, and it's amazing, and it gets shared. Why does it get shared half a million times? It gets shared half a million times because people are like, I would like to use that. And all that person
Mhm.
did was just vibe code this thing up. Like it is not a joke to sort of say like things that you can vibe code as long as you're sort of like, careful and they're well built and all that kind of stuff. These are things that you can sell to other people. I'm not sort of like breaking news here. It's just like because most people are not able to do this, don't want to do it. And instead they just like sort of like, build something up, and you've created a space where people can do that super easily where everybody else is going to be too. I love this idea because also the other thing I'll say about this kind of entrepreneurial aspect of it is it gets people sort of like thinking like, oh my gosh, I can create something, I can create something. And then you just start creating. And maybe the first one is like, but then like the fourth or fifth one is like, holy cow, this is like nailing it. Um, Jaeden, just sort of like, I don't want to let you go here without asking you, like, what is this like for you to sort of like work in this? I mean, like you guys have to do a lot of coding. You say you're not a coder. You have sort of like a CTO, you sort of like, hire people kind of like as you need them, but AI is doing more work for you probably over the last 2 years. That's changed. Can you just give us a sense of like what it's like to like be leading like a really fast growing AI company right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting. I think the thing that's fun is when you kind of have a vision for a product that you want to build, you like, I imagine my workflows and the things I do, and so I build it for with a lot of that in mind, whether I want to or not. My biases about like what I do go into the product. And I think you're going to see that with like a lot of different AI companies. It's kind of funny when you look at it, you look at who the founder is, like what their background is, what they've done, and then look at what the software can do. Like it will oftentimes mirror very directly with kind of their
Yeah.
experience. What's really fun though is once we launched it and started getting users testing it and trying it out, we have a Discord, and so I'll get messages on Discord every day of people being like, "Hey, I was trying to like just yesterday someone was being like, hey, like I have this house and I'm like redesigning the house, and like I need this specific type of file upload attachment to work because I need." I want to generate images of and mock-ups of like what my house could look like once it's renovated, and to give me ideas for my renovations. Like I want the inspiration to come from these AI models. Anyways, it's just like things I hadn't thought of or tried before. And so I love that the feature requests are coming from areas I've never thought of. And that's always been the vision with this in particular, is there's no way I could ever think of all the AI tools that could ever exist in the world. And so I'm like, I just need to build a place where people have all the tools they need to build whatever they want, and just kind of enable people to make whatever they want. So that's been really fun to see all of the different use cases and all of the different things that people have been able to kind of dream up and create on here.
It's super cool. Jaeden, congratulations. As a friend and we've been working together for years now. Congratulations. It's awesome. I love to see it taking off. You were showing me some of the user numbers. I was like, oh my God, like that's awesome. So AIbox.ai, guys, try it out. Thanks, Jaeden, for sharing all that. Really, guys, and also it's a fun thing to play around with, and you know the builder and everything else. So it's not just about supporting Jaeden, it's actually kind of like moving ahead in your workflows. Jaeden, thanks for sharing that, guys. Go check it out. We'll leave you with that and have an amazing rest of your day.